Charles.
Good evening, Mr. Ingram.
How are
Jones. You? I'm very well, thank you.
We are doing the interview live from your car, which is great.
That's great. It's actually my friend's car, but never mind.
That's great. Great. So, you know, because fans, they normally listen and think, where are you at the time when you're doing the interview? So we're letting people know straight up.
It's in the car.
We're catching Don Charles on the hop.
That's correct.
Okay, so let's get straight into it. Big announcement. Dereck Chisora versus Malik Scott.
That's right.
Your thoughts?
My thoughts, obviously, it's always a positive one. You know, this guy, Malik Scott, is probably the best schooled heavyweight I've set eyes on in recent times. He's very well schooled, and basically we've run out of opponents to fight. Hence why we've gone for it. It wouldn't have been the ideal fight for Chisora to have. But when you're looking for opponents, interesting opponents who bring something to the table, opponents who bring a challenge, opponents who will make my. If you remember from the last interview we had, myself and yourself, a while ago, I said to you, one of the things that turns Dereck on is a fighter that makes him lose sleep, a fighter that makes him whet his appetite. He thinks, you know what, I've got to get up for this. Those are the opponents we're looking for. You know, we could have picked anyone we could have picked a nobody for this. We could have picked an easy fight, but people don't want to see that. People want to see a real fight. Yeah. So, you know, you have to admire Chisora and myself because, you know, and Frank Warren, the promoter, who and the matchmaker, Dean Powell, the whole team, in fact. Because you know, we always want to be an interesting fight.
But agreed, it's an interesting fight. Nobody can say that Dereck Chisora's fighting a bum, so it's not a case of that. My analysis, it seems that all these fights, I mean, from the Klitschko fight to the Helenius fight, it just looks that Dereck's always in a fight with a guy who looks like he can beat him. With Vitali, it was, you know, a guy that was a world-class opponent. You know, you had Helenius, European champion. A lot of people expected Dereck to get blown out there. David Haye, big puncher. You know, people, legitimate world champion at the time. And now he's in with Malik Scott, who is, I'll be straight honest, I shouldn't take my personal opinions, but if you look at his boxing pedigree, I mean, he was been training and sparring in the time of Lennox Lewis and being in Emmanuel Stewart and all that sort of stuff. To have that sort of pedigree, fundamentally, he's a better technical boxer than Dereck. Dereck is a, you know, come forward fighter with that sort of rolling Joe Frazier sort of style.
Sure.
A dangerous fight because the winner, that's fantastic. But the person that loses this fight, I mean, for Dereck Chisora to lose this fight, where does he end up then? He's fought Malik Scott. Oh, it's another performance where Dereck has fought well, but what happens after that? I mean, where in the calculation does that come into it?
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, you're a boxing connoisseur, a pugilist student. Yeah? So I give anybody a challenge there. Find Frank Warren, find Dean Powell, find Dereck Chisora, an opponent. Dereck's number 20, by the way, in the world, right? His ranking is dropped down to 20, right? Find me anyone in the top 20 and call them for a fight with Dereck Chisora. And if they take it, we'll drop Malik Scott and fight them.
I know one man automatically you could fight. One man tomorrow you could fight who stand a better chance, who I think would be a better match for Dereck. Kubrat
Pulev.
Yes.
But Pulev is engaged. You got to understand, right? I'm not the one who does the matchmaking. Dean Powell does the matchmaking, then he runs it by us. Pulev is engaged in a fight with, I believe, Tyson Fury.
Fury is out of that fight. Rumor is that Fury will be fighting Haye. I'm 95% sure Fury is going to be announced shortly. I'm 95% sure that.
Okay. All right. Look, things change all the time in boxing. Yeah. As it stands, the agreement is that we're fighting Malik Scott.
Yes.
Yeah. Things change all the time, but we wanted Wilder. I don't know if you got wind of that. We wanted
Yeah,
to fight Deontay Wilder.
I spoke to Wilder recently and talked to him about a Chisora fight. And he said, well,
Yeah.
that was rumors at the time, but now obviously the fight was going to get announced, and then Dereck couldn't go to America and he couldn't come to England, and so the fight sort of fizzled out.
Yeah, it's a fight we want in the future. Anyway, we've got to overcome Malik Scott, okay? Like I said to you, things change all the time. It's all very well saying these names. When you phone them, that they're engaged, they've got their own agenda, they've got their own plans, and I don't blame them. They don't need Dereck Chisora, okay? That's the way they say it, because they too would like to have a challenge at the Klitschko. So Chisora is too much dangerous of an opponent, and also why should they've got all to lose if they fight Chisora at this point? Yeah, hence why a lot of them will turn it down and say no, we don't want to fight. I could go on. I'm not going to reveal. Well, it's not a secret. Like I said to you, in the top 20, Dereck is number 20. Yeah, so many phone calls have been made to bring any of those above Dereck. For that, Tyson Fury was offered £400,000. I can't reveal the figure, right? By Frank Warren 2 weeks ago to fight Chisora. He said no. Remember, Fury has already beaten Chisora on points, yeah? Turning down. And when you look at that, if I was Tyson Fury, I would have done exactly the same. Why should they fight Dereck? If I was handling Tyson Fury, he's on the verge of a world title, so why should he go and fight Dereck, who is already beaten? Yeah. So the list is endless of people in the top 20 who refused to fight us. So this Malik Scott is actually below Dereck in terms of the world ranking, right?
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
But you talk about that. Manwar Shah, another fighter that Dereck was rumored to fight. Why would he not fought Shah? That would have made a lot more sense fighting Shah and a WBC rating afterwards.
Okay. Phone Manwar Shah and say, why didn't you take the fight? He's the one who didn't want to fight, not us, right? Then suddenly he's fighting David Haye. Then suddenly that fizzled out. Even after that fizzled out, Dean Powell was straight on the phone when that fight was cancelled between Haye and Shah to say, fight Dereck Chisora. He said, oh, I'm still under contractual obligations because the fight could get rescheduled. So, hence why we don't sit around waiting for these people. We'll move on to the next person. Frank has to make a show. The show, if you remember, was supposed to be on the 20th of June. It's now been moved to 20th of July, right? So this is what happens in boxing at the moment. This is what happens in this heavyweight division. People are avoiding people. We're not avoiding anybody. Dereck Chisora will fight anybody in the top 20 who's above him.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough. I mean, there's no doubt that Dereck would fight anybody in the top 20. There's no doubt about Dereck and his fighting heart. The question is this now. Dereck Chisora's style, from what I've noticed, he's been very effective against guys that are 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", the tall heavyweights, the giants, because that marauding style, that Joe Frazier come forward style, very effective. But it didn't seem as effective against a guy that was his own height or a little taller. Whereas David Haye was able to throw straight punches, the right hand was catching and connecting Dereck very easily. Whereas against Helenius and against Vitali, they were hitting the top of his head. What are you going to put in place to deal with the strategy of a Malik Scott? That's not really. It wouldn't be right for me to reveal what our tactics will be. To you, no disrespect to you. We have our tactics. We know why. Don't forget. We chose the fight. They didn't call us, say they want to fight Dereck Chisora. So when you watch people, when it was first mentioned to me, I knew of Malik Scott, but I didn't really know too much about him in terms of his style and his record. And then you got to ask yourself a question, and I'll ask you a question. Why is a guy who's 35-0, yeah? Yeah. Okay. Why haven't the boxing world heard, apart from people like yourself who are connoisseurs, yeah, his name is not known. How can you be 35-0, right, and not have fought for any major titles? You have to ask yourself that question. Then you look at the... I'd love to answer that question. I will throw it back and say, Jose Lushigan. Remember Jose Lushigan? You knew Jose Lushigan. I trained him, yes. Oh, there you go. And look how much hell he went through. I mean, Morales didn't want to fight him. Morales didn't want no part of him. Okay. You can see why as well when Matisse fought him. Okay, let me also then add to that. Yeah, it's called boxing politics, right? Then eventually they found somebody who they wanted to fight at Jose Lushigan, and he lost. Yeah. But who was it? With the biggest punch and welterweight or light welterweight in the world?
Right. Yes. So basically, I see exactly the same thing happening here. Malik Scott, what you're trying to tell me that all the Americans, your Deontay Wilders, your Joe Hanks, who came over to spar Dereck Chisora for preparation of David Haye, you're telling me all the Seth Mitchell, they're all unbeaten. How comes they haven't fought each other, or this guy Malik Scott fought any of those people?
Okay, well I could throw it to you. How comes Macklin, Barker, Murray, and Lee haven't fought one another? Boxing politics? Management, bad management, poor management.
Whatever. It's a combination of all those aspects. So therefore, we could go around in circles here, right? What it is what it is. We're fighting Malik Scott, preventing injuries from our side, preventing injuries from his side. The fight is on. The fight will happen. We're here talking about it, so it's captured your imagination.
Absolutely.
Right, so therefore, it can't. It's not. But this is the sport that we're in. We're here to train and fight. Okay. Yes, we've lost fights. We don't go into any fights with a view to lose them. Yeah, we're going to fight. We train hard. We want to win the fight. The same with this fight. We're training hard anyway. We're training for a fight before the whole show got postponed, and then we're now back in training for this fight for the 20th of July. So, hopefully next time I'll be talking to you, we'll be victorious. We're not God. We can only do what we do best. That is to train. Yeah, train hard, prepare the best we can, right? And may the best man win. This guy, like I said, I respect him a lot. I have to, because he's unbeaten. He's technically, like I said to you in the beginning of this interview, he's probably the best skilled heavyweight that I've set eyes on, because the way he puts punches together, not like a typical heavyweight. He's very well schooled, good pedigree. We know all this, but you know what? We're going to beat him.
Well, by beating Malik Scott certainly proves a point, because it would be an unbeaten fighter with
Listen, we're not, let me make this clear, we're not out to prove a point to nobody, yeah? We're out there to win fights, yeah? If it proves a point to people who are doubters, then fair enough. We're not out here to prove anything apart from to get to the top of where we're going. Where we're going is to get Dereck Chisora back into the frame where he's fighting for world honors.
It's a difficult one, because you want to obviously get Dereck that position to become world champion, or get his shot to fight for the world championship. But at the same time, there's not many opponents around, and then the opponent you've got now is Malik Scott. So again, full credit for that. And you know already, I love Dereck. So it's not a case of me here attacking Dereck, but some things have to be asked questions.
No, listen. You could quite easily get on this phone, right, on this Skype thing, and blow smoke up my ass, and Dereck said, no, I don't want that. I want you to, exactly what you're doing is exactly, because it wouldn't be fair for the audience, so viewing audience, listening audience, yeah, if we're here, patting each other on the back. No, absolutely. How we're saying it, there's emotions involved. I don't know if you can hear my tone. You know me very well,
yeah,
so you know when.
We're at it again, so it's cool.
You're annoying me, man. But you know what? This is why we love the sport. Yeah, we get to people get to air their opinion. It's your opinion, but I'm closest. I'm fit to Dereck Chisora to be able to determine. Yeah, I'm not God. I always make it clear that I'm not God. I'm a God-fearing man. I'm not God. So therefore, all we can do is do what we do, what we love doing. We like training. We like preparing. We're very ambitious. Okay. It is Malik Scott. Like I said, preventing injuries from either party. Yeah. The fight is on. And by the grace of God, we will be victorious. It's our turn.
Okay, this is no longer the Malik Scott promotion show. This is about Dereck Chisora. Now, for me, I've watched a lot of interviews with Dereck. They're always short interviews, and he's always always seems like he's wandering somewhere else. He just doesn't want to do the interview. So you really don't get to know where Dereck Chisora's mindset is. Where is Dereck's mind now? I mean, he knows that Malik Scott is there. He knows that Malik Scott is what he is. Where is Dereck Chisora's mind? How is he feeling about the fight? What's going inside? Really inside? Tell us something, Donald, that we don't know about Dereck Chisora. He's such an enigma.
Yeah, he's a very complex character, Dereck. Which makes him the fighter he is. Exactly how his mind works, is how he comes across. You know, I wouldn't try to. I've always warned people. There it comes with a warning sign. Do not try and figure out how his mind is working, because you're going to end up messing your head up. So I wouldn't think too deep into what's in Dereck's mind. He's a very true person. Yeah, very, very misunderstood at times. You know, he says what's on his mind. Yes, he won't give you an extensive interview. He hasn't got that kind of, I suppose it's called patience. Yeah. So that's why you never really get chance to figure out what's on his mind. I mean, I spend every day in the gym with him, twice a day. We do our runs in the mornings, and then he comes back to see me for the session in the gym. You know, so I'm closest to be able to assess this man. And even myself, I don't, you know, I don't try to work out Dereck is just Dereck.
I know you mentioned him being misunderstood, but he's always going to be misunderstood unless he sets it straight.
Right. Sorry?
Unless he sets the record straight with the media, he's always going to be misunderstood, because it's like, you know, we don't know what Dereck Chisora is.
Yeah, actions speak louder than words. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen or listened to any of his recent interviews with various networks, and everybody has acknowledged and they've all voiced that they've seen a change in him in recent times. I don't know when last time you spoke to him, but like I said, on various networks, he's
yes,
they've all said something. There's a sense of maturity, and there's a sense of where he's more relaxed. There's happier. He's in a happy place. So, you know, I've certainly have noticed the maturity in him on all aspects. Yeah. So I mean, he's learning. He's getting better all the time on all aspects.
I've noticed that as well, but for me, I'm asking the question to myself. Well, before he was an unbeaten fighter, he was British champion, and you know, and then he, you know, how his career's been, and then the fight against David Haye may still be in the memory. We don't know how much he's recovered from that fight, because obviously the fight he had after that was a guy that, you know, he was always going to win against. I mean, now he's in the ring again with a guy now that it's a 50-50 fight. Is he up? Is he going to be up for that? Is he going to be? Is he? Okay. The real question I'm asking is he in it for the money, or is he in it to become world champion? That's the real question I want to know. He says, "Show me the money," but does he really want to be world champion? That's the real question I'm asking, Don.
Well, I'm glad you asked that, and the answer is going to be no. He's not in it for the money, just the money. There is an element of money in everything we do. He's not in it, definitely, from where I say he's not in it for the money, just the money. Certainly myself, I wouldn't have anything to do with it if it was just for the money. No, that's not why I wake up every morning to take him for a run. No, we want to get to the top of the tree. We got there, we tasted it, we want more of it. Not the money, to become a world champion. Yeah, I've always said in various interviews that I give to various networks, I will not rest till that man wins a version of the heavyweight championship of the world. I will not rest. Even when we win it, I'll start working even harder to defend it.
Excellent stuff. Right, let's talk a little bit outside of Team Chisora, or so much Chisora. Congratulations, Wally Camacho, winning prize fighter.
Yeah. I mean, you know, as you know, I've only been with him for 9 weeks now. Prior to the prize fighter was the prize fighter fight. The date was actually the 8th week that I'd been training him. So I was able to implement, first and foremost, got him fit, because I saw his last fight against China Clark when he lost his first defeat. He wasn't with me at the time. I was just a spectator. And he called me after the fight, said he wanted to come and see me. He saw me, we had a chat, and I had no intentions of training him. I've told him everything I'm saying to you here. I've told him I had no intentions of training him, because, you know, I had my hands full with other fighters. But if I can reveal this, I'm quite a sensitive man. I'm a big man, but I'm a very sensitive man. When I was ringside watching his last fight prior to the prize fighter, against China Clark. I noticed that he showed a lot of heart in that fight. Although he lost, he showed a lot of heart. And one picture that always stuck in my mind is that after the fight, his mother is a little, she's like 5'2", 5'4" Spanish woman. You know, Wadi Camacho is half Spanish and half his dad from Cameroon.
Right.
His mom's from Spain, and he speaks fluent Spanish, Wadi. And a picture that sticks in my memory, his mother was hugging him, crying, literally crying, ringside after the fight, because you know her son's just apparently it's the first fight she's been as well to see. And all I remember him saying, although it was in Spanish, but it could only mean one thing: "Don't worry, mommy, don't worry, I'm all right, I'm all right." So when he came to see me in the gym to ask me if I could consider taking him on to train him, my initial thing was to say no, because I've got my hands full with other fighters. I'm committed. And that picture just kept flashing in my head, you know, that if you say no to this kid, you know, it means the world to him to make his mum happy. And he said that to me: "I want to make my mum happy." And then, you know what? I'm too soft. I said, "You know what, Wadi? Let's give it a go, yeah? You've got the prize fight. It's not the ideal competition I would have put you in to come back from your comeback from defeat. But nevertheless, you want to do it. But if you complete the program I'm going to give you, then let's get it on. You're fighting. But if you don't complete the program, we'll be able to determine otherwise."
Wow.
Anyway, the rest is history. Wow. He completed the program in flying colors. He's a proper athlete. He's a true athlete. This kid, he showed me so many signs during preparation for that. I thought, you know what? You're going to win this. You are going to win this. And guess what? He won. And Dereck helped him immensely, both by talking to him, giving him confidence, you know, training him, giving him the hardest spar you could spar. Dereck was giving it to him. And I said to him on one of the sessions he had with Dereck, sparring sessions, I said, none of those guys you're going to fight on the prize fight, none of them will be able to give you that kind of pressure. And so don't forget the different weights.
Yes.
Yeah, because he was able to complete the sessions he did. Okay. Not just Dereck, he was sparring other people, but mainly Dereck is the one who was pressuring him. Yeah. So God is great because he won and he made his mum happy. So cut along the story. I'm just giving you a full story. I tell you, it made me so happy. It made me so happy.
But it's great. It's great for a trainer to get reward for the work he puts in, and that's fantastic. And it's great news. The other fighter, Ian Lewison, he's fighting soon. You still training with him?
Most definitely. Ian Lewis is a world beater. But again, I'm not going to say too much. We're working on stuff to enable him to get to where he deserves to be, because that kid is a world beater. Okay,
so you're working with him as well. Okay.
Special heavyweight was blessed with talent, blessed with skills.
But are we going to see that? Are we going to see Ian Lewison be fighting at a higher level and, challenging for world honors at some point?
Definitely, most definitely. That's the plan. Listen, the guy he stopped in the prize fighter, it took him 2 minutes to stop the guy, Timo Hoffman, who's only been stopped once prior to that in 50 fights. Yeah?
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, he stopped Timo Hoffman in 2 minutes. Timo Hoffman narrowly was appointed for the European title a few weeks ago, right?
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Right, Ian Lewison took 2 minutes to dispatch him. So that's what we're talking about. That's this kid. Like I said, there's a few issues we're trying to address with the Ian Lewison. Once we get it right, he's a world beater.
Excellent stuff. Absolutely excellent stuff. I've got to ask your opinion. 2 fights, Thompson and Price 2. Your thoughts?
David Price to win.
Okay, so you think he avenges?
Yeah, I believe so. Because if you look at that fight prior to Price getting stopped, he was on top of it. He was in control, totally in control. This is heavyweight boxing. This is boxing in general, but especially heavyweights. It takes one punch. And he made a mistake. He paid dearly for it. And, I believe he will be victorious in his quest to return. And we'd love to fight him after that. Because there was a lot of talk about David Price and Dereck Chisora.
Yes.
And I think it was you that was asking me that. I said it wouldn't be Derek's first fight fight. But now, Price has also tasted defeat, right? So,
it'll be a good fight.
Providing he's successful with his quest against Thompson, then I think it'll be a very good fight for Dereck. Provided we're also successful with against
That'd make a
Malik
cracking
Scott,
fight.
then I think it'd be a great fight.
Finally, the proposed Fury-Hay fight. What do you think?
You know what? I don't usually sit on the fence on this. It's very interesting to say the least. I'll be very surprised if this fight happens anyway. I don't think Hennessy will risk it when he's so near. When he's so near to getting Tyson to fight for the main goal is to fight one of the Klitschko's. Yeah.
The rumor is that if one of the two win the fight, they get a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. That's the rumor that's flying around at the moment.
Of course, well, it's not just a rumor. It's inevitable because who else? The winner of that should. I mean, David owes either a return to Vladimir or a crack at Vitaly, and Tyson should he be victorious, and then he fights. Who is it mandatory for? Is it Vitaly or Vladimir?
It will be if whoever wins that will be the winner between Vitaly and Steven.
Okay, so that's what you're looking at. I mean, look. Let me tell you something. Yeah, I mean, Adam Booth, I respect him. Really, really respect him a lot. He's a friend as well as a rival when we do have to fight. The boxers have to meet each other. But he's a great tactician. But one thing I can say to the people listening is that Fury is better than what people think. Okay, very, very clever guy in the ring. Yeah, uses the ring uses his height very well. Yes, he's open to the right hand, which is David Haye's best shot. Yes, he is. Okay, but he's very, very awkward. Yeah, Tyson Fury, very, very awkward. So it's gonna be a very interesting fight. It's hard for me. It's really hard to call a winner there. Yeah, if Haye can get in, because this guy is 6'9".
Yes.
Who can move? He ain't no Valuev. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, he can move. He's a fighting man. He's got heart, Tyson Fury, a lot of heart. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, a guy, how many times has he been down? 3 times in his career, and he gets up and wins the fight.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so therefore, providing Haye and Adam Booth, whom I rate highly as a coach, can devise a system to get in and stay in, right? Because when they got in against Vladimir, they got in and they didn't stay in there. With Fury, you need to stay in range to be able to connect to your punch. I don't think you can stay on the outside hoping for a lucky punch. If Haye adopts that attitude, negative attitude, he adopted against Vladimir, then I'm afraid Tyson all day long.
Okay. Don Charles, thank you so much for talking to Bayloric Television.
It's always a pleasure, Ingram.
And I really appreciate your time you've taken and your busy schedule.
Hopefully next time we speak, we'll be talking about our victory against Malik Scott.
All the very best in that fight against Malik Scott. It's a tough fight, but it's definitely a fight that can be won.
Life is. Can I just sign off by saying life is tough, but yet again we'll still live it.
Absolutely. Said by Don Charles.